What's good, YouTube? Alright, so this is just a video I want to do because I'm bored. I know there's like hundreds of them on YouTube, but I just want to just do one because I do want to help people out. I just want to give a few tips on working 2 jobs. Now, I've worked 2 jobs 3 times with different mindsets, and that's one really big thing that you're gonna have to think about, and that's what I'm gonna have to talk about. Now, the first time I worked 2 jobs, I wasn't gonna mention this until I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, that's like a good tip. The first time I worked 2 jobs, I only worked at the second one for 2 days. And I think it was mainly because I didn't have the proper mindset of, that I needed to work 2 jobs because I didn't have to. Like, I was actually really lucky. I was like 19. I had just moved to Michigan. I was staying with family. They weren't making me pay rent or give them money or anything like that. I was in school, and I basically just had to cover my own expenses, like a grown person would need to do. I had to buy my own food, stuff like that every once in a while. I would give whoever took me to work or school gas money, or I just covered my own bus fare, whatever. And, I really didn't have the proper mindset of me needing to work 2 jobs because I didn't have to. And I was literally exhausted. So don't work 2 jobs if you don't have to. Like, don't do it just to do it or just to say that you did it, because there's a difference between being sleepy, being tired, and legit being exhausted. Like, there's a difference, and a lot of people don't understand that until you experience it. And exhaustion can cause some physical, mental problems for you, so don't exhaust yourself if you don't have to. So that's definitely going to be my first tip. Like, don't do it if you don't have to, because I was ready to freaking die after doing it for a couple of days. And on top of that, I was going to be in school too, and I wasn't even in school yet. So I was like, you know what, I can't do this. My second tip is making sure 2 if possible, but at least one of your jobs is 100% considerate of the fact that you have a second job, because there's gonna be certain things you have to communicate so far as availability and other things that you have to count and put into play here, so far as I have to come and I have to make sure I'm going at this time, and I have to make sure they don't schedule me for these days, and I'd rather neither job schedule me for this day, so I have at least 1 day off, because that's another thing. You don't want to freaking work every single day with no day off. Like, I've worked 13 days straight before, multiple times actually, and that's tiring. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but you don't want to freaking work every single day and never have not 1 day off, never have any time to sleep, because again, you're not going to be able to work or live. So you want to make sure that one of your jobs is clear, like, okay, I cannot work past this time, or I cannot work before this time. Like, the second time I worked at 2 jobs, I worked at Panera and Outback. Now, luckily, they were like literally like up the street from each other. Like, maybe not, they were basically across the street. And when I was working there, Panera was my first job, and then not my first job, but you know what I mean. And Outback was the second job. So I had been working at Panera for about 9 months before I started working at Outback. So both jobs were considerate of the fact that I had another job, especially because Outback didn't open till like 11 or 12 anyway. So I was working, at night. I was working a closing shift from like 4 to 10 or something like that. So that was fine, because usually the latest I would get off of Panera was 5 anyway, because I wasn't a closer. I couldn't close for reasons. So that is, you know, that was fine. There was a fine line of communication, and even Outback was considerate of the fact, like, okay, I understand you might, you know, want the same off days or the same off days, so that way you can go in and be able to have an actual day off. So, you know, they were like, you know, as soon as you get the schedule, send it. Also, the schedules dropped at different times or different days. So they were like, you know, just send me the schedule, this, and that. So there was a great line of communication between both of my jobs. You know, the first one is like, okay, she has a second job. She has to be out in the next few minutes, this, and that. Me making sure I have everything done. Because before it was just like, well, hey, I need the extra money, I need the extra hours, I'll stay here as long as possible. But then it was like, no, like, I gotta go, I gotta be out by a certain time, which was great, because at first they basically said that they're not gonna do that. Like, if you have something else to do, oh well, if you get out on time or not, whatever. So that's a really good thing. Another thing is, it is great to make sure that you give yourself proper time in between for whatever. And when I say that, I mean, you know, you have to be really good at time management when it comes to having two jobs if you're going from one job to the next. Like, when I was working at Outback and Panera, we pretty much had the same clothes, I guess you could say. Like, at Panera we could wear jeans or black pants. Outback it had to be black pants. So the times that I would work at both, I would just wear jeans. I would just wear black pants to Panera. We had to have a black shirt on, but Outback it had to be like a button up. So I would just put my button up over it. My hair was already up, take my hat off, make sure my name tag is off. Already had on non-slip shoes, boom, I was ready to go. And just walk across the street. So even if I was in a rush, you know, I had time to do both. So you want to make sure, I'm not necessarily saying make sure that each job has the same outfit, but at least make sure that you're able to, you know, give yourself time to change, put your hair up, you gotta take off makeup, take out piercings, whatever, because of course each job is gonna have something different. So my third tip for working two jobs is making sure that at least one of them is fully steady for you. So making sure that if everything just goes with that second job, that you know you still have that first job to lean on to. And I'm mainly just mentioning this if you ever get to the point to where you want to quit one of them. Because the third time I worked two jobs, I worked at Panera and the call center that I work at now. And at first I had like a steady schedule for 4 weeks at the call center. So I was able to tell Panera, like, hey, these are the days that I could work. This is the time I have to be off by because I have to be at my other job by this time. And then afterwards, you know, and that's the only part of the reason why I kept the first job, because I was like, you know, if I get fired from the second one, I've been working at Panera for, I think at this point, I've been working there for a year. March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, I have been working there for like a little over a year actually. And I was like, you know what? You know, just in case, I know I could always go back to Panera. And I was actually about to quit, and they were like, no, we'll give you a raise. And I literally worked there 1 day a week for like 3 months. I worked there like 1 day a week. Like, I just made a pocket change pretty much because where I was staying at was up the street from it anyway. I was like, you know what, forget it, it's extra money, you feel me? But Then part of the reason why I stayed is because I was like, I could always go back. Like, I know that they'll keep me. But what I'm going to get into now is pretty much my fourth tip. If you can find a way, similar to the first one, if you can find a way to not do it, then that's better. The reason why I'm mentioning that is because, like, the job I have now will give you overtime like that. They will give you overtime. You can request it, look at your schedule 2 minutes later, and it's there. You feel me? And some jobs don't want to give you overtime. They barely want to give you 30 or 40 hours, let alone over 40, giving you time and a half. So I really sat there and I did the math, and I was like, you know what? I work here 1 day a week. I could work an extra, so I was working at Panera 1 day a week, 8 hours. And I was like, you know what? I make more money at my second job. I can work an extra hour a day. So I can work 5 hours and make more money than I make at my first job, or at, Panera, working 8 hours. So if I wanted that, I just started doing that. And plus I moved, and my apartment complex is literally across the street from my job. So I was like too far from the other place. I'm like, the time that I'm gonna spend, the money I'm gonna spend on gas or on an Uber, minus, the little paycheck that I get, is not really about to be worth it, because I was working 6 days a week, really only having one off day, which wasn't even giving me time to really enjoy that off day because I was so tired from working 2 jobs. So if you're able to find a way to not do it and to still have the money, then I say do that. Now, there's a lot of people that work at my job and they say that they have another job because they would rather work 2 jobs than to do overtime at the first one. Me personally, I'd rather just do overtime at the first one, because I really sat there and I weighed out the pros and cons, and I'm like, I don't like, I had to weigh out the pros and cons, because I was like, you know what, I can get 2 days off, I can make more money, I could do less work. Yeah, I'm dealing with more stress because the call center job was more stressful than working at Panera, but I was like, you know what, that's just me. Like, I would prefer to work 8, I'm working 8 hours anyway, but I would prefer to work 9, 10, 11 hours at one job than to have to leave my first job and work a second one, or to have to work 6 days a week, or to have to, be able to go through all of that. But it's really just, whatever you prefer, whatever mindset that you have. To me, if you can get one job to make up for the first one, then just do that. But this video ended up a lot longer than I was expecting. I was kind of mumbling, rambling. My bad. But please ask questions that you have in the comment section. Please give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get my channel started. If you like makeup, I am doing a giveaway on the oval brushes, the dupes, after I get to 100 subscribers. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video, if you did watch it for this whole time, and I will see you guys later. I'll probably post another video later because I'm off and I'm on vacation and I'm bored. So